Okay, this is the lesson we're going to do for the second part of section 5 from chapter 4. We already covered factoring polynomials using a GCF. We already talked about special products, or at least we're going to finish that up on Monday. So today, what I'm going to talk about, or in this lesson, I'm going to talk about factoring by grouping terms. Okay, the idea with grouping terms is we can break our problems up into two pieces. For instance, I can take 2a cubed minus 3a squared, and I can take 4a minus 6. Alright, so if I take both of these pieces, or in this case negative 4a minus 6, alright, so I took this piece, and I took this piece. Alright, and so when I do this, I'm going to look for a GCF for each piece. So for the first piece, your GCF is a squared. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll pull out the a squared. I can write this right, a squared. Then I see what I have left. All right, if I pull out an a squared from 2a cubed, essentially what I'm doing is dividing each piece by a squared. So when I do that, I'm going to end up with 2a minus 3. That's the first part. The second one, I'm going to go back and I'm going to look, and what's my GCF here? GCF on the second piece, I've got GCF, and this one is a negative 2. So when I pull that out, I got a negative 2. I got something left over. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm dividing both pieces by negative 2. So I get 2a plus, no, I copied this down wrong. That's a plus 6. 2a minus 3. All right, so I've got these two pieces. So essentially that tells me that my original expression here is a squared times 2a minus 3 minus 2 times 2a minus 3. So let's just work with that for right now. Now, looking at this, you can see some common things. That's 2a minus 3. That's 2a minus 3. What that tells me is I have a GCF of 2a minus 3. So what I do is I can come down here and I can pull out the 2a minus 3. When I do that, I'm left with a couple of pieces. I'm left with the a squared and the negative 2. So I put the a squared minus 2 together. And that's it factored. That is your answer right here. That's factoring by grouping. Okay, so let's look at the next one. It's the same concept. You're going to look at the two pieces. All right, I'm going to take the two pieces, and they're not always going to be in the same order. We'll talk about that more later. But in my case, got this. Now note, I'm keeping the negative on the first piece. Okay, so let's take 12x cubed plus 4x squared y. And I'm going to take negative 3x minus y. For each of these, for the top one, I have a GCF between 4 and 12 of 4, and x squared in both pieces. So I can pull out a 4x squared, and remember that's essentially the same as dividing both things by 4x squared. When I do that, I'm left in parentheses with 3x plus y. If I come down to the bottom one, I've got a GCF of negative 1. So again, that's the same thing as dividing by negative 1. So I'm going when I divide the negative 1 out, that leaves me with a 3x plus y. So all I've done is I've taken these two pieces at the top and I've reworked them to give me the new expression 4x squared, 3x plus y, and 3x and minus y, minus 1, times 3x plus y. Alright, so I end up with 4x squared minus 1 because this, or let me not do it that way. I end up with a factor that's common. That's the GCF. 3x plus y and 3x plus y shows up on both pieces, and 4x squared minus 1. That's it factored by grouping. Now, we covered this last class, so we'll talk about this again. This follows one of our special patterns. That is the difference of squares. Okay, and remember, difference of squares follows the form a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b, a minus b. So in my particular case, a squared is equal to 4x squared, b squared is equal to 1, so a is equal to 2x, b is equal to 1. So I can factor it one last time. I get 3x plus y, 2x plus 1, 2x minus 1. And that is our final answer. All right, so that's it for Chapter 5, Section 6. That's factoring by grouping.